Hello everybody, Indy meets Disney, and we are here at Epcot.
So we did a part 1 of all the yummy foods that we can find at the Flower and Garden Festival, but we're not finished yet. We decided we had to come back for part 2, more food.
That's right, Flower and Garden is just so gigantic. There's just so much to see and do and eat.
Yes.
We thought we'd come back for a second day, and we are so glad you were here with us today on this second day journey.
So adventure with us and see what we're gonna nibble on today.
All right, let's do this.
To Isla Fresca, which is right outside of France in the World Showcase, and we have gotten an arepa topped with chorizo, and it runs for $6.25.
All right, first up we're gonna try this arepa with the chorizo. So it's got some melted cheese on here, so this looks pretty good. Wanna try it out first?
Okay, oh dear. So I tried to pick it up with just a fork, and it seems a little bit too hard. I might have to knife and fork it, so I'm just gonna take a bite. That's really good flavor. This guy loves chorizo, so I think he's really gonna like this. It's delicious. So the arepa is kind of like a cornmeal cake.
Really thick.
That queso fresco on the top of it is nice and refreshing, and then the chorizo is spicy, but not overly spicy.
Yeah, it tastes like a tamale. If you ever had a tamale in casing, it tastes like that.
Or even a pupusa. I don't know if you've ever had a pupusa before, but it kind of tastes like that as well. So that's really good.
The chorizo has a nice kick to it, a little spicy. The cheese is really nice on here too.
Yeah, they actually had a couple different kinds. They had an arepa with just the queso fresco cheese on top, so just cheese and bread basically. And they also had one that had shrimp and some other things on top of it. So I'm glad we went with the chorizo topping.
Yeah, this got a nice flavor on it. There's some little peppers in here, some scallions as well, to help with that heat a little bit too. This is a great dish. I would definitely get this again.
Yeah,
I think it's a nice price for a festival dish. So this is a win.
And also from La Isla Fresca, we grabbed the coconut tres leches, which is $4.50. It's a newer item here at the Flower and Garden Festival. It's a vanilla cake soaked in oat milk, almond milk, and coconut milk, and it's got toasted coconut on top. And next up, we're gonna try the tres leches cake. So you can see the cake underneath it. It's got that layer of whipped cream and then some toasted coconut. So I am gonna be a huge fan of this, I can already tell.
3 types of milk. It's really interesting.
Oh man. Yeah, so
Nice
it's
and
super
soft.
moist. It's really good.
Actually, it is really good.
I bet if you just avoid the toasted coconut, you probably will really like it.
It's got great flavor.
It's so good.
I don't get a strong coconut other than the flakes on top. But actually, the inside, the softness, like the different milks mixed inside, coconut doesn't come through real strong for me. I think the other two milks kind of cut out the coconut, so it doesn't stand out alone. This is really good.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this a lot.
I am too. I would almost say, and I love coconut, there's almost too much shredded coconut on the top. I'm probably just gonna kick off some of this and not eat all of the coconut on the top. But that cake underneath the whipped cream is so good.
So moist, so creamy. This is great.
Yeah, I would definitely get this again. So 2 wins from the Isla Fresca. So,
And did you say this is part of the Garden Grace?
it is part of the Garden Grace. So you can get and I don't have it with me, but you can get a passport and get it stamped when you get part of the Garden Grace. And then if you eat all, I think it's 6 items, 5 or 6 items from the Garden Grace, then there is a
reward. You
Yep.
turn it in and they give you some little reward for getting all the different items through the festival.
Yep. So I don't think we're going to do that today, but if we do, we've got one step ahead of us. We've got this eaten. So
Yeah, and this is a great item.
It sure is.
Especially for $4.50.
Yep.
Picked up a couple items from the Sunshine Griddle. So the first one is this corned beef brisket hash with house-made potato barrels, onions, peppers, cheese curds, and a soft poached egg with Tabasco hollandaise. So this runs $6.25. Looks great. Ready to dive in and give it a try.
Okay, now we're going to dig into the corned beef brisket hash. So the potatoes that are part of this are humongous, like this is just cut in half. There's a couple of really good sized ones on there. So this one is covered in that hollandaise sauce. I'm going to give it a bite.
First thing I want to point out is it's supposed to be a poached egg with this. Poached egg is usually supposed to have some runniness to it. This is definitely not a poached egg. It's just like a hard-boiled egg that's on here. So a little disappointed that I was looking for some runny yolk over this. So a little bit disappointed in that. But I'm not surprised at a festival like this that it sit out and got hard.
Right.
So not really surprised in that.
That potato was delicious. It had really, really great flavor. I thought I was going to expect it to taste like a tater tot. And I wouldn't say it was like a cousin of a potato tot. A cousin of a tater tot, but not a tater tot. I would say almost like a hash brown chunk, maybe. I don't know.
That's got a good flavoring on the potato.
Very good flavor, yeah.
Nice fry to it.
And the corned beef that's on here is humongous chunks, like huge chunks of corned beef. Humongous and delicious. It's really good.
Yeah, it's got a nice flavor. Nice big chunks, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Cooked really well.
Almost reminds me of like pork belly, like the thickness of it. Yeah, and the cheese curds on top of that, and the sauce, the hollandaise sauce, is
Squeaky,
good.
nice, yeah. And this is really a nice sized portion for the price. So I think it was $6.25 is what it said. So that's a really good portion size. Sometimes you go to this festival and the price you pay and the portion size you get is not so great. It's definitely a nice size portion.
It is, yeah. The only thing that I don't care for on this is the egg. I think the egg is kind of a random, like, doesn't fit for me, but I don't like hard-boiled eggs or poached eggs or whatever it's supposed to be, so.
I love it. I love it all. I just wish the egg had been runny. That's my only complaint. And I love it all. This is like a nice little breakfasty type dish. And I think it's great. It all works well in my book. So.
It's almost like breakfast, like stand. So they've got the avocado toast there. They've got fried cinnamon roll bites, kind of like a donut, a Fruit Loop shake. It's almost like the place to go for breakfast, but all day.
And also from Sunshine Griddle, we had to get this. This was one of our favorites last year from the festival. It's the Fruit Loops shake. We got this so many times last year because it was just so good. Runs $4.50. So we're gonna dive in and try this as well and see if it's just as good as last year. All right, so we are going to try this Fruit Loop shake. So as I mentioned earlier, this is one of our favorites from the festival last year. We got it so many times. We even made special trips over to Epcot just to get this thing. We walked over, I don't remember how many times, just to get this.
We needed this in our lives. So, did you mention how it used to be blue last year and it's no longer blue?
I don't know if I did or not, but yeah, it was blue last year and it's pink this year. So I don't know if that's gonna make a difference in the taste or what. We're gonna give it a try.
I could drink all of that in one gulp. It's so stinking good. It's not changed at all, besides the color.
Yeah,
It still tastes exactly like a Fruit Loop.
Nice and cool for a hot day. Today is a hot day.
Yeah.
This is great, nice and refreshing.
It's kind of lost its shakiness. Like, I would say it's more of like a thick milk than it is a shake. But we also let it sit in the heat for a little bit, so.
Yeah, this is really good though.
It's so good.
Definitely a win for the festival. Definitely probably will have to have at least one more of these before we leave.
Yes, we will. I was going to mention that too.
If you're here at the festival, definitely get this shake. It's definitely a win. And the price is definitely reasonable for this as well. So.
Yeah, super refreshing, so give it a try.
All right, from Sunshine Griddle, we're going to try these fried cinnamon roll bites with cream cheese frosting and candied bacon. These look fantastic. So hopefully they look as good as, or they taste as good as they look, that is. So we're gonna try them out here in just a second. All right, we're gonna get these fried cinnamon roll bites here.
They're very large size. They remind me of the size of like a donut hole.
Oh my, got a nice little surprise in there. These are actually filled. It didn't say that anywhere. There's a nice little frosting inside there. So that was nice, little texture there.
I'm glad you mentioned it because it started, well, right before you mentioned it, it started to ooze right down my chin.
That was a nice little bit of joy there that I experienced.
I like the sweet and the savory, the bacon on it. Cinnamon sugar. So there's lots of yumminess involved in this.
Yeah,
I like this.
I think the bacon adds that nice little bit of savoriness to it to balance it out, so it's not overly sweet. But I think this is definitely a win.
And I think her daughter is jealous that she can't have some too.
Sure.
You hear some fussing happen on camera, so.
But she's been really great today here at the
She's
park.
done such a
It's
good
been a
job.
hot day and she's been a trooper.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I would get these again in a heartbeat. And the cream cheese frosting on it is really great too.
And that little burst of sweetness in the middle, that cinnamon, whatever you call it, little cinnamon burst in the middle.
Yeah.
Was great. Yeah. And
this too.
just to say, we went back and got more Fruit Loop shakes because we do love the Fruit Loop shakes.
We do.
All right, so let's conclude coverage of part 2 of our Epcot Flower and Garden Festival. So what'd you think overall?
We love the Flower and Garden Festival. We love the flowers, the gardens, the topiaries, and the food. The food is delicious.
And Spike the Bee. Don't forget him.
Oh, Spike the Bee, of
He always
course.
makes an appearance.
Of course. And we just really enjoyed the food that we ate for this part 2. It was the Isla Fresca. I don't know exactly if I'm pronouncing it right, but that booth was amazing. And what was the other one called?
The Sunshine Griddle.
Oh my goodness. The Fruit Loop shake we could never go wrong with. We had it multiple times, and all the brunchy food was great. So
Yeah, I think Sunshine Griddle just might be my favorite booth. I just love all the different breakfast items they have there, or brunchish items.
Yeah.
So that might be my favorite. I mean, there's still several more booths that we haven't tried yet that I'm excited to get back and try at some point.
Yes.
But so far, that just might be my favorite booth.
You need to get it in your life. And also, why are we hanging out here on our couch at home?
Well, there was a torrential downpour that happened the last day we were filming there, and it caused us to have to evacuate the park. All of a sudden, we got drenched, so we weren't able to record our closing there at the park. So that's why we're here finishing up at home, and we talked about that a little bit in part 1. So if you missed that, that's why we're doing that here. But please go back, visit part 1 if you haven't. We're going to put a link right above right now that you can click on. So please do that if you haven't seen part 1. But we thank you for joining us here for part 2 as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to see some of the yummy treats you can have at the Flower and Garden Festival. Like this video, take a moment and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until next time, we will
See you real soon.
Bye.